I started feeling like it was food, and the reason I never like dialed down into it was basically because it kind of made me angry, if I'm honest. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Janet and this is the GatHouse Fitness channel. Today we will be doing a video about my skin. If you've been following me, you know that I was having a battle that I was losing with acne that kind of came out of nowhere. For the most part, I've never really had acne problems. I didn't have acne in high school and during puberty. As an adult, I had a few bouts of acne, and when I say bouts, I mean like 1 month where it was just way more than normal, meaning maybe I had 5 pimples that whole month, and then it would be good for years and years, and then maybe it would come back like 3 years later. So I had like small little bouts with acne, not a long extended period of time, but I would say somewhere in 2017 my skin started to break out, and then it just progressively got worse, and it kind of peaked twice. The winter rolling into spring of last year, and then the summer of last year. So a lot of people were saying, you know, you're stressed, you guys are planning to move, this, that, and the other, and I really didn't feel it was stress. And I started doing a lot of research on where your breakouts are and what causes them, and most of my breakouts were on my forehead and then on my cheeks and jawline, and then usually I would get a pimple on my chin, which is the hormonal area. But forehead is definitely gut health, and I cannot remember what cheek and chin was, but the majority of everything occurred on my forehead. And what was on my chin came and went, so it would come in cycles. So it wasn't something that was always. It would be 1 or 2, and when they came, it would be 1 or 2. Well, actually it would be 1 or more. It would either just be 1 or it'd be a cluster, and they would even be like hard to the touch, like you could tap it with a pen, it would make a sound. So those were really weird, but like I said, they weren't always there. As far as my forehead, there was always something. Every morning I would wake up, if there were less than 3 new bumps, I was excited. So I was getting at least 3 bumps new a day. I have the type of skin that whether I pop the pimple or I do not pop the pimple, if it comes, it leaves a scar. So there's also dealing with that. And then they weren't just all like little red bumps. They usually had a head to it. So you really just didn't want to walk around with like all these little white heads on your face. And then I am a fitness professional, so teaching and sweating and having to wipe your face often during the day, and your face is sore, that was also a point of contention. But anyways, this video is going to go into, that was a very long intro, this video is going to go into what I did to get my face to stop breaking out. Like I said, people were saying I was stressed. A lot of people were saying maybe I wash my face too often because I am a fitness professional, but I mean, you really just can't let sweat sit on your face. And then like, well, maybe you're sweating too often, and I'm like, well, am I supposed to not sweat just so my face doesn't break out? And then a lot of people were saying, well, just go to the doctor and get Accutane or all these other things, and none of those really felt right for me. And for a while, I'll say, like I said, this started somewhere in 2017. I'll say the beginning of 2018, between February and April, I started feeling like it was food. And the reason I never like dialed down into it was basically because it kind of made me angry, if I'm honest. It made me angry. So the reason it made me angry is I am already vegan, and I love being vegan at this point. But I wasn't someone that chose to go vegan. Like, now that I'm vegan, I love it, and the research behind it, it sits right with me and my soul, as far as the health benefits, and of course not eating like meat. Like now that doesn't make sense to me. It did when I did eat it, and it doesn't now, which is fine. But I didn't go into veganism with that thought, like, oh, I want to save the animals. That wasn't how I ended up vegan. I just ended up vegan because my body started rejecting the food I was eating. It didn't want dairy anymore. It would make me very, very sick and bloated and cramping, or worse, throwing up, or the other end. If I ate meat, it started with beef, I would be either really constipated or really sick for days, and then it went into chicken, and then I just ate fish, and then just eventually everything just went away, and I was basically left being vegan, and that worked for my body. So when I started to kind of feel like it wasn't stress, it wasn't hormonal, it wasn't your face is too clean or too dirty, I was like, it has to be food. And something in me just told me it was food. But I was so mad because I'm like, I already don't have, quote unquote, that many options. And not that being vegan is like restricting, but I just mean that many options, say, when you go out. So when I go to a mainstream restaurant, there's already not a care about a vegan. Like, they're feeding the plant eaters and make your money, I guess, do what you gotta do. But there was always, I could eat bread. There's usually a noodle dish or a bread dish or something of that sort that I could modify to make vegan. But when I started dialing into the things that make people's skin react the way mine was reacting, it was wheat, gluten, soy, corn, and nuts. And then some nightshades, or all the nightshades, which would be like potatoes and mushrooms and those type things, and eggplants. And I'm just like, yo, look, we're not gonna take we're not gonna take bread and pasta and potatoes. Like, that is what I eat. Like, what will be left? So I was kind of frustrated, and I didn't want to deal with it, so I didn't. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And when it peaked, I have the picture I'll put up on the screen. I was at where was I? The Vegan Fest here in Tampa. And of course you go and sample lots of different foods. And although I did eat wheat almost every day, I didn't really eat corn daily. I ate corn maybe once a week. And soy would be like a treat. So maybe once or twice a month. So I didn't really eat soy often, and I ate corn like once a week. But it was the perfect storm. Because I had wheat, I had gluten, I had corn, I had soy, I had everything, all like within 2-hour period, and my face went bananas. My forehead was so swollen, even though in the picture you can only see the bumps. Like, if you touched my forehead, it was like watery underneath. It was so swollen and just hot. And I was like, I can't do this. And I was leading up to my birthday, which is November 18th. And I said, I cannot turn 34 and look like this. I have to figure it out and stop being angry about it and just deal with it. Being angry about it is not conducive to finding a solution. So I was like, F it, figure it out. So I started doing some research. And I was looking at, of course, YouTube and doing research, but things where people had different kinds of acne. And I came into candida, fungal acne, and food intolerances were the ones that kind of resonated with me. There's a bunch of other reasons why your face can break out, but those were the ones that kind of, for some reason, I felt like aligned with me. So I decided I was going to start an elimination diet and take everything away for the most part, besides like rice, beans, green vegetables, and fruit. And then after a few weeks, I was going to add 1 or 2 things in and just see how my body reacted, and I would know, okay, this is it, and this is it, and this is it. So I started this on November 7th. I'm not sure if you can see that. And in my research, I wrote down some of the things that people found as triggering, which would be sugar, which I'm sure we all knew, fried food, which I already didn't really eat, allergen foods, which would be the nuts and all the things I named, the moldy foods, as far as like say a mushroom, or even some oats are quantified as moldy foods because of the way that they are prepared and kept and packaged before they get to us. So I looked at all those things and decided things I were going to take out, and then I looked at the things that people added in. So this will basically go into the things I decided to add into my diet and the things I put on my skin to start to help my acne. So it's not actually my acne routine or my face care routine. These are just things that kind of happened as I went through the process, and I just want to share them because one or more of these things could actually help you. So Natural 85 had a bout of candida, and her face started breaking out, and her acne was quantified as fungal, I believe. So she mentioned this shampoo here. I want to say it's Nizoral. Maybe it is not Nizoral. Let me see if it's focused. And this one is the blue one. And what I did was take this, and I think I did this on the 4th. So my face broke out crazy on the 3rd, and I did this on the 4th. I just took it and just made a paste across my face. It burned like all get out. But as soon as I washed it off, about 50% of the pimples were gone, and the ones that were left were smaller. And I was like, dang, okay. So that took me into, so fungal means there's some kind of imbalance in my stomach, plus I'm putting things in there that aren't helping the imbalance get better. So that is when I went into these other things on top of the elimination diet. So I started taking diatomaceous earth. Got this off of Amazon, and I took this for about a month. It's about a quarter of the way gone. I don't know if you can even see that in there. And you just mix it with some water, and this to me kind of settled out what I would describe as like the eruption of bacteria in the gut. So just imagine like it's lava or something, and you put this on top and it just settles the bubbles down. And not that there's really bubbles or any of that in your stomach, but it just felt like that to me. It just felt like my stomach calmed down. And this kind of grabs bacteria and all that kind of stuff and absorbs it and takes it out of your body. So I started that. And I also started drinking aloe vera juice. And all of these things kind of have the same concept of helping balance the gut and balance the bacteria and all that good stuff. And this actually doesn't taste like anything to me. My husband says it tastes like very, very watered down lemonade, and to me it really doesn't taste like much at all. And I took this for about 2 months as well. I haven't taken it since the year flipped over, namely because it has to be cold. And since it is like 70 degrees, and I know everybody's probably like, okay, Janet, 70 degrees. But I'm always cold. If you know me, I'm always cold. So if it's not like above 85, I'm freezing. So since it hasn't been above 70, I haven't taken this because drinking my smoothie every day is enough to freeze me out. And then I also started taking black seed oil. And this is like a cure-all for a lot of things if you do research on black seed oil. So I started taking these pills. And then I increased my water. So I usually, and for showman's sake, here's water, guys. So I usually drink almost a gallon a day. So I decided that I needed to increase that because that is basically like a baseline for my body. It doesn't register as extra. So I tried to get a gallon or more. And then I also started taking probiotics. This one is a vegan probiotic, and it is gluten-free. And this is just the box. So although it is gluten-free, it does have soy. I couldn't find one that was both gluten and soy-free. But for me, going through the elimination diet and just knowing per my intuition, I knew soy wasn't the thing alone. like if I have small quantities of soy, it doesn't break me out, and I knew that. I knew what it was, I just didn't want to receive it. So I knew that the little bit of soy that is contained in this would not affect me. So those are the things I started putting in my body almost immediately. So like I said, when I did this the first time, it blew me away at how much it reduced the size of the pimples, and it kind of confirmed for me that, okay, yeah, you do have something going on in your gut because my pimples reacted to it, and I need to balance it out. So I use these things, the diatomaceous earth, water, aloe vera juice, probiotic, and black seed oil into my body to kind of balance everything out. I also started drinking kombucha. I don't have any on me because I don't drink kombucha often because it is fermented, so most kombuchas do have gluten in it, plus most of it also has caffeine in it, and my body is also caffeine sensitive. Like I said, this is why I was annoyed when I was like, I gotta take one more thing away because I can't drink coffee, I can't drink green tea unless it's decaf. It's just a lot. So anyways, kombucha also can help, but just note that it usually does have gluten, it does have caffeine, and sometimes it has added sugar. So just balance that out for yourself. So I did these things. Like I said, I stopped eating breads, wheat, gluten. I did have corn in there. My face broke out the next day like so bad. So I have not had corn since I want to say Thanksgiving. I haven't had corn since Thanksgiving, unless it is in something, and not in something meaning like a kernel, like maybe something used corn oil or something like that, then I might eat that. But I haven't just had like corn on the cob or like roasted corn kernels or anything, popcorn, none of that since November. And soy, I have not had tofu or tempeh or edamame since the beginning of November. A lot of things contain soy oil, which I have found out, which is very annoying. So like some pasta sauce has soy in it. Why? I don't know. Literally all you need to do is crush up some tomatoes and put some seasoning in it, and that is pasta sauce. But for whatever reason, they put soy oil in it. So if there's something like that, I might eat it just because it's a small amount, and usually it's the last ingredient, so it means it's a very small quantity of it. But I haven't just had like I said, tofu. I use aminos in replacement of soy sauce for the most part. So if I do have a little bit of soy sauce or tamari, it's usually good. And then daily on my face, and this is in my whole skincare routine, these are just two of the things I found that back in November and as of say December, January, they have really been helping me out. So Derma E, I use their cleanser, the Acne Deep Pore Cleansing Wash, and I did a video on all of the Derma E products I picked up back when I started working on this. I think I posted it in October. I'll try to link it below. So I use this on my face daily, and then here recently to assist with making sure my skin remains calm and also cutting down the hyperpigmentation from the bumps, I started using aloe vera gel. I wanted the leaf, but Whole Foods was out of the leaf, and I actually prefer this because you get more out of it. And this is the inner fillet. It is just 100% aloe vera gel. There's nothing else added into it, and I have about this much left. You can see where the condensation is. I have to get some more this weekend. But this is Lily of the Desert aloe vera gel, the inner leaf fillet. So yeah, that's pretty much the story. I know it was haphazard. I didn't really write it out. I just wanted to kind of see what came out, and I would go with that. So basically my skin was breaking out, long story short, because of the food that I was consuming, namely wheat and gluten, which are two different things. Although there is gluten in wheat, there's a whole thing about it. You can have a gluten intolerance and not have celiac disease, which these people cannot have gluten at all. It like send them into turmoil. So you can have certain food intolerances without actually being allergic to them. it just has certain reactions in your body. So yeah, it was basically wheat. And I, at some point, started eating Ezekiel toast every morning with peanut butter and agave. That was like my go-to little breakfast. I was an intermittent faster, so I would not eat until after noon, and it worked for my body and my schedule, and I wasn't hungry, so it just worked out. And then in the winters in Nashville, in the morning, I would need something. I need something to wake my body up. I need something to warm me up. So I'd either have oatmeal or I would have the toast with peanut butter. Well, more often than not, I would have the toast because it's quick. I can do the toast and be on the computer or go in between sessions, whatever, and eat the 1 or 2 pieces of toast. Well, when your body is not processing wheat, well, you don't need to have toast every day. So I was doing that, and it was just getting worse and worse. And then you add on to that, I have small intolerances to other things that I also was eating more often, because back then I was eating corn a few times a week. I don't have the intolerance to nuts and nut butters, which is good. I do find sometimes though, if I eat, I think they're called macro bars. I'll put the name on the screen. I don't know if it's because it is, when I get them, like maybe they're very fresh, but sometimes I can tell when I eat those, I'll get like heat around the side of my face, and if that happens, I'll go take a probiotic like ASAP and simmer everything out, because I'm like, no. So I do have the type of body where it usually reacts pretty quickly to things that it doesn't like, whether it's food, people, energies, rooms, experiences, situations. I usually have a reaction. So I don't have to wait and guess, which is why it's on me that it took me so long to get here, because like I said, I was angry and I didn't want to have to remove one more thing from my diet. That's just the honest truth. I just felt like, really, God, another thing and another one. So yeah. So also to caveat that and add to some side effects of going through this process, I did lose quite a bit of weight doing this. Apparently my body was really bloated. If you look back on some of my videos, my face was a little puffier, and I can tell via my abs were carrying a lot more water, I think it was. I don't think it was like fat, I just think it was water. My body was inflamed. So let's see, where did I weigh myself here? So I weighed myself on November 12th. I was 150 pounds, and that was the first time I had weighed myself in probably about 2 years. And the last time I weighed myself back in like 2016, maybe the beginning of 2017, I remember that like month I weighed myself, I was always between like 155 and 158. So just being 12 days into this, I was down to 150. That's not to say that maybe I was a little bit lighter before I started, but I usually stay about the same size. So I was down to 150 on the 12th, and then where did I get down to? I can't find it, but I want to say I got down to 145. And the last time I weighed myself, because I don't weigh myself often, I don't find it necessary for my journey, and I'm also one of those hyper excessive people. If I start a process like that, I'm on it all the time. And yes, the scale is a very good tool, but it's not the end all be all, and my mind gets wrapped up. Even though I am a fitness professional and I know better, I'm still human and I know myself, so I just don't do it. But I believe I got down to, I want to say it was 145.2 is what sticks in my mind. And then I weighed myself again the weekend of March 19th when our friend from Nashville came, just because I was trying to push him over, and he's like, girl, you can't push me over, you don't weigh but 100 pounds. And I was like, boy, I weigh $150, like what are you talking about? And he was like, no you don't. So I had to weigh myself. That day I weighed 152, and that was midday after I had drank like I don't know how much water and all of that, so it's probably more about like 145 and 148. So yeah, I dropped a lot of weight just eliminating things that my body does not enjoy processing, that does not make me thrive. I wish that it gave me more energy. A lot of people said when they removed the things that their body didn't like, it gave them all this energy. That was not the case for me. I will say when I was taking the diatomaceous earth, the first week of taking it, I did have a lot of energy. So I don't know if I'll get that vibe back when I start back taking it, or if that was just like my body balancing it out. But on top of getting the energy, I also kind of had, if you research, there is a, I want to say they call it a die-off effect, like the bacteria dying off, and it kind of makes you sick like you have a cold. I did also experience that, and then shortly after that went away, aha moment. Shortly after that went away, I got sick for real, and that's the first time I had been sick in like 5 years, and I'm going to now attribute that to this experience. So yeah, be careful with that. Make sure you up your multivitamins and your vitamin C and all that kind of stuff to combat that, because I hadn't thought about that, and like I said, I hadn't been sick in forever, so I never even thought to be cautious of it, but now we know. So anyways, this was long and rambly. Like I said, I did not plan or write anything out. I just gathered all the things I wanted to talk about and turned the camera on. So hey guys, I hope you can see me and that I'm in the frame, but upon my rambling, I just realized as I reviewed this footage that I did not complete my statement about the things that happened as a side effect. So I went into the weight loss, so I did drop some water weight, which was really cool. My body is less filled with fluid. But also what happened is I used to get night sweats really, really bad. Like wake up and from my chest up is just drenched in sweat. Like I could literally like go like this across my face and water would roll down my arm. That has stopped. And also my cycles have changed. So for fellas, if you don't like this stuff, you can just skip it. But I'm sure a lot of fellas have moms, sisters, daughters, friends, besties, girlfriends, wives, I don't know, in your life. So maybe you want to share this with her. But as far as flow goes, say tampon wise, I can use a light tampon for most of my whole cycle now. So that is definitely not the case if you are a woman and you know how cycles go. That is not usual. So as far as the heavy stuff, I can use like one of those boxes for multiple cycles now instead of having to buy one or more boxes every month. And then the majority of my cycle is light, which is crazy. The cramps and PMS and everything also associated with my cycles have also gone down so dramatically. So those are side effects I have found from going through this process. My cycles are way, way better as far as PMS, the pain and flow during the cycles. Also the hormonal breakouts with your face associated with your period. I don't really get but like 1 or 2 now, as opposed to it used to be like it was still 1 or 2, but it was 1 or 2 multiple times. So it's just like 1 or 2 once now. And then of course the inflammation in my body went down, so I lost some weight and some water weight, and the night sweats are gone. I might get night sweats every now and then now, but usually that's just a sign that my cycle is coming. So it'll be like one night. So yeah, that is it for real this time. Peace. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're battling with acne, whether it is fungal or from a food intolerance or a hormonal imbalance, just hit me up. We can talk about it. Share in the comments. You never know who you can help. Maybe you have an experience or an item or something you did that helped with your journey, or maybe you're still in your journey. I'm at the point now where I'm trying to clear my spots I don't really break out anymore unless it's around my cycle, which my cycle is on now. My face is doing pretty well. I do have a bump right here, but as you can see, my forehead is clear now. I just have to get rid of the spots, and I'm happy. I was I don't want to say I was depressed, but your face is what everybody sees. Like, you can wear a long sleeve shirt, you can wear pants, and cover up everything. You can cover up your neck if you wanted to with a turtleneck, but your face is out, short of wearing, like, you know, what they wear in the Middle East. And I mean, that's not my vibe, so that's not what I would do. And I wouldn't, you know, bite somebody's culture to cover up my face because my face is breaking out, because that's rude. So I don't know, I was really beside myself about it. I did not feel good about myself. Of course, I did not think I was pretty. So it was a lot to go through, and I already look young. Like, I don't look like I'm gonna be 35 this year, which is great, and thank God and my mom and my dad for their lovely genes on that. But I don't need to look like I'm 20 something and have my face broken out, because then you just look like a high schooler. And who takes high schoolers seriously? I'm sorry guys, we love you, but but yeah, so anyways, thanks guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more fitness videos. I think next I have a yoga video coming up, and my husband is supposed to be interviewing me. I don't know exactly what his questions are. He said I think he said they pertain to how I plan my yoga classes, I don't know. But he hijacked my channel one night when I was out teaching classes and posted this video about how he was going to interview me. And he told me the other week, like, yeah, I got these questions when you ready. Like, it was a threat, like I'm scared or something. So yeah, we'll be doing that soon as well. So anyways, thank you guys. Peace and love.